like to talk a little bit here about my book, The Complete Married with Children book. Okay, it was the first book, the first regular book that I published. I had published an ebook prior to it, and I had published some of my Rachel Heath erotica, but this is the first regular book. And I think that part of what made this show so special was the inherent tension in the show between its liberal and its conservative aspects. Now, the liberal aspects are well known, that it kind of ripped up the envelope and tossed it away because it was very, explicit about mentioning things like, Peg Bundy wanting to have sex and Al Bundy not doing that great of a job of it. And, this type of thing, and, and having the two horny teenagers, well, at least when they got to the teen years, they, Bud and Kelly were, a little bit on the rebellious side, a little bit, stretching their wings. Okay. But even as you had all this, all this coverage of, of sex and various things in the show, you also had a very strongly conservative aspect to the show. This was a family that was held together by a concept of duty. Al Bundy, for all his complaining, for all his fantasizing, for all his looking at his Biggins catalog, Biggins book, for all of that, he went to that job as a shoe salesman that he hated every day, day in and day out, because he had a duty to Peg. Okay? He had a duty to his kids, Bud and Kelly, and he stuck by that duty. Okay? And Peg Bundy, she may have complained about his performance in bed. She may have fantasized about other guys, but she was faithful to him just like he was faithful to her. Again, another conservative aspect. And finally, it had a very conservative aspect in that it showed us a male breadwinner, female homemaker model. And it was also kind of honest and funny in the fact that, at least after season 1, it told the truth that housewives can be lazy. Now, I didn't say housewives are lazy. I said the fact is that that's probably a job that is done more diversely, more differently from person to person than any other job, okay? And some housewives are very industrious, but some of them are not. Some of them prefer Dr. Phil and Oprah watching, okay? And again, despite all of that, her children loved her and her husband loved her. Okay, and it reflected the realities of today, or of the time period of the 1980s, because there was also a single breadwinner household, the Darcy household, where Marcy Darcy was the worker and Jefferson Darcy was the house husband. So it reflected, that reality, that the breadwinner can be a female and the dependent spouse can be a male. But anyway, in the way that it did that, in the way that it had the conservative, I think this tension between the conservative and the liberal elements is what made this show so very special. Okay? I hope you like that, and will subscribe to this channel.